this is Optimus Prime. And this is the all-new AceBeam X75, the 80,000 lumen flashlight that's just been released a month or so ago. Comes in at the second most powerful production flashlight on the market, just behind the Immelent MS18 at 100,000 lumens. So what we're going to do today, we're going to have a look at the box, the contents, and then we're going to have a look at this fantastic slideshow of AceBeam's artwork of this amazing new flashlight. We're going to go through a few pictures and see what this flashlight can do. So on the front here you've got AceBeam, light where you want it, 5-year warranty, outdoor portable USB power delivery power bank flashlight. You got the USB Type-C power delivery 60-watt wall charger inside. You can get the 100-watt. The difference is the 60-watt charges this flashlight in an hour and a half. The 100 will do it in an hour. So there's not much difference there. Works as a power bank, so you can charge your phone and other devices. Patented safety lock switch, so same switch that you got on the X50, the model before this one. And it's got an air duct heat dissipation system. On the side here gives you the color options and the LED options. So mine is the Type 3 hard anodized oxidation black, and I went with the cool white, which has the XHP 70.2 LEDs at 6500 Kelvin, 80,000 lumens with a throw of 1150 meters. On the back here you've got a few things that you can scan. I gather would throw you onto the AceBeam website to show you their other flashlights. On this side it says AceBeam. I'll open it up and see what's in. So I gather, as per usual, this will be magnetic, as most of the boxes these days are, which it is. And I notice a lot of companies are writing thank you these days. I know Olight have got all this thank you in their boxes. We always care about your using experience. Let us hear you and we'll do better. AceBeam team. Before the first use, please remove the insulating film, charge the battery pack and unlock the flashlight. The default setting for X75 is insulated the power by the plastic film. Locked mode, eco mode, windy mode, low power for battery pack. If you guys want to read that, I'm not going to go through it all, just pause the screen. Okay, got a little bit of foam. You've got some instructions showing you how to take off the battery pack, removing the protection piece, how to connect the USB-C cable, how to turn it off and on, the auxiliary button, and the on and off switch. So if you're new to flashlights, that would be handy for you, but considering I own a few AceBeam products, I don't think we'll run into too many problems. I notice a lot of people are actually trying to take this whole box out. The easiest way, if you get this flashlight, is just open it from here. Don't try to take the whole thing out. So we've got the AceBeam warranty card in multi-languages. We've got a USB Type-C cable for the wall charger. This big heavy thing is the wall charger. There's the 60-watt power delivery wall charger, which will charge the flashlight in about an hour and a half. There it is, 65 watt. And a couple of couple of goodies in here. I'll see if I can open those once we take the light out. We've got another bag here as well. We'll see if we can open those one-handed as well. Anything else in here? Nothing in there. Close this back up again. Can we get this flashlight out? Oh, it feels nice. It's got a great texture to it. Absolutely, just straight off the bat. It feels a lot different to my previous Ace Beam flashlights. Put that down here. Okay, that's all that's in there, I think. Yep. Set that off to the side. Over there. Here's the light. It's not as big as I thought it was. A lot of people are saying this light is huge, but it doesn't look too big to me. This is going to be absolutely perfect for what I bought it for. What a fantastic looking flashlight. You've got 12 XHP 70.2 LEDs in there. Stick that off to the side for a minute. See if we can open these one-handed. Might be a little bit difficult, but we'll work it out. This looks to be, I've noticed on a couple of other channels, they give you a spare fan. So if the fan ever fails, you can take the hex bolts off the handle there. They actually give you a key as well to get them off, and you can replace your fan. And in this one, I think we've got all those hex bolts and everything else. A couple of O-rings. I know there's a couple of screws in here as well, so I've got to be careful they don't go everywhere. Okay, so we've got a little hex Allen key type wrench, 2 O-rings. I've never had to use any of the O-rings that I've bought over the years. And got a couple of, what do they give you, 4 screws. So 4 screws just in case you lose the screws off the handle there. So you can see the 2 screws there and the 2 screws there. You take those off and pull the handle up, and that's how you replace the fan. And this little thing, I've noticed this on another channel, and he didn't know what it was either, but it might have something to do with the USB-C port, but it is rubber, so something might fail and you're able to replace it. Okay, we'll just have another look at this light. Apparently it weighs just over 1.2 kilos. The operation is started from the handle there, so you've got the power switch and the auxiliary button. The reason why I love this light so much, because this top button here has momentary turbo. That is absolutely brilliant for what I need. I don't waste my lights as in dying the battery. I try to run them at levels where the light will last me for a number of hours. So I'm glad that they provided that momentary turbo switch. As I said, let's take this off. There's your world famous XHP 70.2 LEDs, 12 of them, 1100 meter throw, 80,000 lumens. But it's the lower light lumens that impressed me. So we'll put that off to the side. We're going to go through a slideshow here, and Ace Beam's going to tell us exactly what this X75 punches out. I'm going to run through a number of pictures I've put together in this slideshow. I'm always blown away by AceBeam's marketing. Their artwork for all their flashlights is brilliant, and it seems to get better for the AceBeam X75. It's just knocked it out of the park. So we've got the AceBeam all new X75, 80,000 max lumen, outdoor portable USB power delivery power bank flashlight. Type C power delivery 60 watt to 100 watt fast charging discharging. So they gave me the 65 watt. You can get the 100 watt, but the only difference is you save an extra half an hour in charging. Powered by a built-in battery pack, which is here, and inside it's got 421/700 batteries. Power bank, so the power bank is here. Also unscrew that cap and you've got the USB slot just behind there. Waterproof IP68, rated innovative intelligent cooling fan, up to 98% high efficient constant current circuit, patented mechanic safe lock. So there's your safe lock just there, and it's exactly the same as you got on the model before this, which is the AceBeam X50, and the air duct heat dissipation system. Wow, look at that shot. That's awesome. Look at that color. I love that blue. 80,000 lumens max output. The X75 can crank out the equivalent light output of over 25 sets of car headlights on high beam. Light up a beautiful night sky. That's a fantastic shot. I might use that as my thumbnail, I think, when I upload this video to YouTube. Detachable cooling fan, detachable, maintainable and waterproof cooling fan. The built-in fan can be pulled out from the barrel with the help of the handle, which is convenient for maintenance and replacement. So here's your little hex Allen key that they give you. There's the little nuts there that you unscrew, that pulls straight out, and they give you a spare fan also, just in case if it ever fails. Very nice of them. High efficient heat dissipation. Pure copper heat dissipation piece for high efficient heat dissipation. That's a lot of dissipations. So that would be, if I can bring that in front, you can just see it inside here all the way around. Intelligent thermal control, air duct heat dissipation design and cooling fan combination can quickly and efficiently intake cold air and exhaust hot air. So that shows you how it keeps the flashlight cool so the LEDs don't burn out. Intelligent cooling fan. The intelligent cooling fan is controlled by the temperature of the X75 flashlight. It will turn on or off automatically at windy mode. No need for extra operation. So windy mode, you can turn that off and on. That was another reason why this light interested me. The imminent lights that came out originally with the fans, you couldn't turn them off, and I record a lot of stuff for this YouTube channel, so I needed a flashlight where I could actually turn off the fan. And this auxiliary button up the top there, from off, if you hold that down for 3 seconds, that turns the fan off. And if you want it on again, you just hold it down for 3 seconds on off and the fan will start working again. Detachable, maintainable and waterproof cooling fan. So that was a big plus in buying this this flashlight. Dual switches design allow you to quickly activate and cycle through the general 5 brightness levels at each power or eco mode and functional modes, including momentary turbo, which is brilliant. Strobe and cooling fan on or off manually. So you've got ultra low, low, mid 1, mid 2, high, turbo and strobe. So ultra low is 900 lumens. Low is I think 2000, mid 1 is 5000, mid 2 is I think is 11,000, high is 23 and turbo is 80. Auxiliary switch, so that's the one there, and you can swap from power to eco. So apparently the light comes in eco mode, and I was watching Matt Smith. If you ever want to see a trusted flashlight reviewer online, subscribe to the Matt Smith YouTube channel. The guy's brilliant. He owns Lumencraft. He's the guy I trust the most on YouTube. So I had a look at him doing the review of this flashlight before I decided to buy it, and he was blown away by it. So that was another reason I went and pulled the trigger on purchasing this flashlight. So, and he did say that AceBeam tell you to punch the auxiliary button 10 times to swap from eco to power mode, but he said you just punch it 4 or 5 times and it'll swap. It'll light and then it'll dim to go down into eco, and then it'll light and go bright to come back into power mode. Precision machining. The light is made of CNC machining with an ingenious design. All flashlights these days are just brilliant. You know, the design and the style, as Charles Bridgetech would say, is brilliant. I've not seen an ugly flashlight released these days. They're all beautiful works of art. There's the heat sinking here. So you got plenty of heat sinking. That's all you had in the original flashlights from years ago, just the heat sinking. But now these days, they're getting very, very futuristic looking. USB Type-C fast charging. So there's the cap. You undo the cap, plug it in from the back there. You've got the red and blue light. I think the blue light means fast charging. And the green and blue light means fully charge. So you can charge your devices as well. 60 watt adapter that I have charges it in 1.5 hours. Operating instructions. Okay, so this tells you how to turn the fan off windy mode and swap between eco and power. We've already gone through that. The main switch. So if you want the ultra low level, you hold the button down and that'll go into the 900 lumen mode, and then you work up from there. And the lock unlock, you just push it up and you push it down to unlock it, exactly like the X50. Color changing sleeve. This is a new thing. Color changing silicon sleeve monitors the temperature of the flashlight. Protects the X75 for anti-impact. Well, I can understand protecting it for anti-impact. I think we can all pretty much tell when a flashlight's hot. But you can see the color there, that it's light gray. Apparently it goes light gray when it's very hot. You can see it's black at the moment, and it looks really cool on the flashlight. So I won't be taking that off. I'll be leaving that on for sure. Color changing silicon sleeve is easy to install and remove. I'll be leaving it on there. It says gray and blue. At the moment it's black. Doesn't look too grey to me. Maybe it swaps from grey. So grey under 55 degrees Celsius and blue over 55 degrees Celsius. We'll have to wait and see when we start using it. IP68 standard waterproof, fully protected against dust and foreign objects, waterproof underwater to 2 meters. I've never actually ever put a flashlight underwater. I've used them in the rain outside, which I think they can withstand, but I don't think I'd be game enough to ever put, especially this one, with it being so open design like that. I'd be too scared to put it underwater. And that's what the flashlight looks like there. So if I was to hold it up like that, it doesn't even fit in the freaking screen, it's so big. And it just gives you all the pictures that we've just been through at the moment. And here are all the light levels. So strobe on power mode, 60,000 lumens, and then it'll drop down to 10,000 lumens if you run it for more than 50 minutes. Ultra low is 900 lumens, it runs for 8 hours. Low is 2000 at 5.5. This is the one that got me, mid one. I need a flashlight around about 4,500 to 5,000 lumens that runs over 2 hours for some of the stuff I film. Some of my Explorers go for well over 2 hours. So at 5,000 lumens, this flashlight will run for 2 hours and 23 minutes. After that, it'll drop down to 900 lumens and it'll run for a further 8 minutes at 900. I normally swap from 5,000 to 2,000 every now and again, just to maybe punch out 2.5, maybe 2 hours 45 minutes. Then you've got mid 2 at 11,000 lumens for 63 minutes. That'll run for over an hour on 11,000, and then drop after 63 minutes to 900 for 8 minutes. 23,000 lumens for 7 minutes, and then after 7 minutes it'll drop down to 17,500 lumens for a further 25 minutes, and after that it'll drop down to 900 lumens for 8 minutes. And turbo, well, you only use that sporadically, so I'm glad they put that momentary button on the auxiliary switch there, because I was getting sick and tired of double clicking all my other lights, so they've knocked it out of the park with that button. I'm in love with it. So 80,000 lumens for 30 seconds. It'll drop down to 23,000 lumens for 20 minutes, and then 900 lumens for 8 minutes. So this was my favorite flashlight. Out of all the flashlights I've owned, the DX80 was my favorite flashlight. You can see here, middle high, 5,000 lumens for 2 hours 25 minutes. That's relatively the same as the X75. Now, I always used to swap between the middle high and the middle. I was an Immelent man for many a year, but I had 2 failed battery packs on the Immelent DX80. They replaced one, and then they sent me a brand new light, and within 6 months, I think it had 8 18650 batteries in the battery pack there, and it failed again, which means you couldn't get a full charge out of the flashlight. So for instance, you notice with the 5,000 lumens, 2 hours 25 minutes, I could only charge the light to a certain level, and I was only getting half an hour at 5,000 lumens, and that was just ridiculous. I couldn't even do turbo, wouldn't even turn on, the whole light would switch off, and that was it. After 2 failed battery packs, I sold it, and I just thought I'd try Ace Beam. So far, I own the X50. Nothing's happened with the battery pack on the X50, so fingers crossed this one will last as well. And this is my favorite light to film with, the Ace Beam X80 GT. You can see the size of it, how small it is, and look at the lumens that it punches out. So as I said, 4,000 to 5,000 lumens is perfect for the filming that I do. This one does just under 2 hours at 4,000 lumens. So I take 4 batteries spare with me, and it's got a tripod mount as well, and that's another reason why I bought the X75. That also has a tripod mount, whereas the X45 doesn't. So this is my favorite light. If in the future, I know they just released a newer model where it punches out 34,000 lumens, and the medium 3 has only gone up by 100 lumens. It went from 4,000 to 4,100. So I was thinking about buying that light just because it's so compact, but I really wanted to see what the X75 would do. These are my go-to lights when I film all the content I do for this YouTube channel. You got the X45 V2, which unfortunately doesn't have a tripod mount. So I have to hold this with my left hand while I'm filming with the right. 18,000 lumen XHP 70.2 LED flashlight. But my go-to light when I do all my films is the Ace Beam X80 GT. I can't speak highly enough of this flashlight. Look how small it is. Fits in the palm of your hand. It's got a tripod mount where I can connect the camera to. 4,000 lumens for just under 2 hours. Probably use this on 90% of my explores when I've had to film in the dark. And my camera that I use is just a little Lumix camera. I did have a 640p camera prior to this one, a Kyocera. It was great if you watched it on a phone or a small iPad, but if you were going to watch the footage on a laptop or a TV, the footage was rather grainy. It was like Super 8 footage. So decided to get a new camera, and I upgraded just to the bare minimum HD, which is 720. People always ask me, why don't you go for a better camera? But the hard drives fill up so quickly. Even with this one, the hard drives are filling up. I can only imagine if I went for a better camera what it would be like. And if I can do this through the camera, I got this steel rod that I'm screwing in now, and I gave it to a friend to put on his lathe, and he cut some threads on both the top and the bottom, and that's how I film. That's how Optimus Prime uses his camera. He's got the torch on the bottom, and that's how I walk around. So I've got my left hand free, and the right hand is doing all the filming, and that'll last about 2 hours on this one. So I'm interested to see, because another main reason I bought the X75 is, surprisingly, it came with a tripod mount, such a huge flashlight, whereas the V2 over here doesn't have one. So we'll put that, where is it, on the side there, and if I can do it through the camera, come on baby, are you going to fit in there or not? I don't want to cross thread it. Look at that. I was a little bit worried that I'd have to make a new one. This is going to be my go-to flashlight now. This is going to take the lead, and the little AceBeam X80 GT will be a backup. All right, I'm going to pack everything up. Thanks for watching. We're going to hop in the car. We're going to head down an hour and a half down to the south coast, and we're going to do some beam shots between the X75 and the X45 V2. Okay, we have travelled an hour and a half down south from the northern beaches of Sydney. We're going to do this beam shot comparison of the second most powerful production flashlight in the world, that being the AceBeam X75, and we're going to compare it to the AceBeam X45. The X45 V2 comes in at 18,000 lumens, and the X75 comes in at 80,000 lumens. This is where we're going to do the beam shots, in this tunnel. Halfway in this tunnel there's a ventilation shaft, and that's where we're going to do the comparisons between both flashlights. There's an old bathtub and an old piece of machinery that I think's been left over from the mushroom farming days. I know this video is going to get a lot of views from around the world, because a lot of my flashlight reviews in the past have got a lot of views. So I'll give you a bit of a history lesson on this tunnel. This tunnel is 134 years old. It opened in 1888 and it closed in 1915. When it first opened, there were steam engine drivers burning themselves because there was no shaft originally, and 3 years later in 1891 they built the ventilation shaft that we'll see halfway up the tunnel. It's 200 foot high, which equals 61 meters. And just inside the door here, I'll get my torch, I'll show you. You'll have a look. During World War II, we might find a little bit of wind coming through, so it might drown out. So this gate that you see lying on the ground here used to be across here. This was sealed off in the year 2000. So in the year 2000, no one could walk through here, but throughout the years kids have damaged gates and made their way through. The first time I walked through this tunnel was 1991 as a 20-year-old. So if you see here, there's a concrete bunker type structure. You see, this is where in 1942-43 there was a wartime explosives program, and they detonated the tunnel here and they caved it in. I've also read that the reason why they did that is for fear of the Japanese taking control of this tunnel. They probably stored munitions back here after the attack on Pearl Harbor, and the reason why this concrete enforcement here to prop the tunnel back up took place is back in 1959. A company called Eden Industries, which was a mushroom farm, wanted to grow mushrooms in here, and that's why they once again opened up the portal. So you notice they didn't detonate the brickwork at the start of the portal there. They went, what do you call that, 100 metres in? 100 metres in, and that's where they blew it up. You can see some of the loose debris up there. So as I said, I walked this tunnel for the first time in 1991 with a whole bunch of friends. Then I came back in 1997. The first time I filmed it was in 2012. If you go to playlists on this channel and look for the second video, playlist and look for the year 2012 and look for the second video, I think it's number 57, you'll see the very first time I filmed within this tunnel. So we're going to walk halfway up it, sit down and do a comparison between the X45 V2 and the X75. Alright, we're about halfway up the Otford Tunnel here on the south coast of New South Wales. I'm going to be sitting down here on this milk crate and we're going to do the beam shot comparison, shooting down onto the piece of machinery that has been left, I'd say, from the mushroom farming days back in the 60s and 70s. I'm going to hand the camera over to my son. He's going to be filming. I'm going to have the X45 V2 in my left hand. I'm going to have the X75 in my right hand. Okay, first we're going to do the low on the X45, that being 800 lumens. Okay, so that's 800 lumens right there. Wherever I shoot the torch around this pan, so that's 800 lumens on the X45 V2. Ultra low on the X45 is 900 lumens. So that's 900 lumens ultra low on the X75. Put them on together. So 800 lumens here, 900 lumens there. We're going to go up to mid 1 on the X45 V2, and that's 2000 lumens on the X45 V2. And that's 2000 lumens on the low of the X75. Put them on together. 2000 lumens and 2000 lumens. Alright, I'm going to go up to high. Okay, so that's high on the X45 V2, that's 5000 lumens, so now we're ramping up to the big outputs. And that's 5000 lumens on mid 1 on the X75. Put them on together. So the X45 V2 has got 4 XHP 70.2 LEDs. The X75 has got 12 XHP 70.2 LEDs. Okay, so now we're going to go in to turbo, and this is 9,000 lumens. So that's 9,000 lumens on turbo. X75, we're going to go into mid 2, and it's 11,000 lumens. So that's 11,000 lumens on mid 2 on the X75. Together. Okay, so the next one is Turbo Max. We're going to go to Turbo Max on the X45. So that's 18,000 lumens. And the X45, and that heater's out there, so there's no rated output on the X45. That's the highest there. And on the X75 we're going to go up to high, and that being 23,000 lumens. And that's 23,000 lumens right there. The X75 shoots over 1,000 metres. The X45 V2 shoots over 500 metres. So if we put them on together, so that's them on together there. And there's only one thing left, apart from the strobes. We're going to now hit 80,000 lumens down the Oxford tunnel. We've got the momentary switch, which makes it nice and easy. This is 80,000 lumens. That's what it looks like in the Oxford tunnel. It's not heating up yet. Alright, we'll finish off with the strobes. So the strobe on the X45 V2 is 5,000 lumens. So we'll do the strobe on that one first. Watch your eyes, boys. So there's the strobe. So this is what they classify as the fence strobe. If someone's coming towards you, this will blind them completely. And defence strobe on the X75 V2 is 60,000 lumens. Look at that, can't even look at that. That's 60,000 lumens defence strobe. I don't care who you are, but if you're going to walk towards that, you'll blind someone within instant. And that's it. Alright, we're just going to do the turbo one more time, just to make sure I did get it on. So we're going to double click. Okay, so there it is there. So that's turbo. And you can actually see it turning a different colour on the rubber on the bezel there. Oh no, it doesn't, does it? Alright, I promised you guys to show you what the ventilation shaft looks like. So we're going to walk down past this old piece of machinery that I gather has been left over from the mushroom farming days. And this closed in 1915. I'm not quite sure if I mentioned that before. Opened in 1888. The shaft went up in 1891 and it closed in 1915. Because of the gradient, it was rather steep, but more so because people were still suffocating because there were steam trains back in the day. So if you notice this fishing line hanging down, we've been to the top of the vent shaft. We actually ran this fishing line down. And I'm now going to shoot up 80,000 lumens up this vent shaft. We've got to be careful because water's coming down. It was raining earlier. So that's what the vent shaft looks like. How impressive is that? Here's an old bathtub that I gather someone has floated down. But even with the light off, you can see I'm directly below it. Even with the light off, you can see the light coming down. So there's the light. People used to abseil down here back in 2012. Let me just head down here. I'm going to shoot back up so you can see the bathtub and my son. Just give you an idea of what it looks like this way. How's that, Brandon? What about if I hit you with the fence drove? You ready? Jeez, that is mesmerising. All right, we'll call it a day. With this vent shaft, it's 200 feet high, as I was saying before, 61 metres. If I compare it to the Wanji emissions stack, Wanji was an old power station. That's 249 feet high at 76 metres. If you're wondering why I'm comparing both stacks, go to playlists on this channel and go to the year 2017 and click on the video that's numbered 120, and you'll understand why I'm comparing the Wanji emission stack to the ventilation shaft down here at the Otford Tunnel. I want to wish you guys a happy new year. This video would have dropped on the 1st of January 2023, and I look forward to you guys joining me in a lot more adventures on this upcoming year. Until we meet again, wave to the camera, Brad. Adios.